Hey friends, it's Asha. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are doing another reading with Asha video. Finally, I haven't done one of these videos in so long. And I'm so sorry for that, but I'm gonna be doing a little wrap up of everything that I read in January and February. Sorry about the weird lighting right here. I wanted to be in front of my bookshelf here, but also there's a window right here. So like it's kind of coming in at in a weird way. But I'm gonna move you a little closer and we are going to talk about everything I read in January and February. I wanted to show what I read in January, like at the end of January, but I literally was just so busy with school. But now it's my spring break, so I can actually show you what I read, and I'm so excited because this is probably gonna be one of my favorite months of reading in my entire life, I feel like, and you will see why. But I just read some really good stuff in January, and I didn't read a ton of books in February because I started school and it was just a lot and I could only read like one book a week. But now that I'm on spring break, I'm hoping to read at least 2 again. I always used to read 2 to 3. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna talk about the first books that I read, which was a series that I actually started at the end of December. Like the last 6 days I read the first 2 books of the series, and the rest I read in January, but I'm still gonna talk about the whole thing. So you probably guessed it, or if you follow my reading Instagram, you probably already know what I'm going to show you right now. But this is the series that I read in January, which is the Harry Potter series, which was literally so amazing. I was never a huge Harry Potter fan. Before I read this, everyone was like, you should read the Harry Potter series, and my brother loved it, my brother's girlfriend, and so I was like, okay, I have to read the Harry Potter series. And I really never even watched the movies. I watched like, I know a little bit of like the first one from when I was little, and that was it. So this is like a whole new world to me, and I know so many people that are obsessed with it, and I was just like, I can't get the hype. And now that I've read it, I can 110 million% get the hype, because it's been 2 months since I read this and I think about it every single day. I literally think about it every single day. Like, I'm so attached to this series, and I don't think I'll ever be able to move away from it. Like, I really won't. But I feel like everyone has heard of Harry Potter. If you haven't, I will kind of explain it a little bit. I'm not going to explain every single book, obviously, because I would expose some things, but there is 7 books in the whole entire series. These ones all have over like 700 pages. This one's like 800, 900 pages. The first couple ones are just pretty short, but they get really long, but it's never something that you want to like stop or you get bored of. You know what I mean? It's just you keep on going and keep on going. And it's so amazing. And then you can watch the movies afterwards, which you watch the movies afterwards and it like literally brings everything to life. But if you read the books and you watch the movies, you know that they leave a lot out of the movies, especially like after 1 and 2, they leave like a ton of stuff out of the rest of the movies. So that sucks, but 1 and 2 are the shortest. But anyways, yeah, so this is the Harry Potter series, and I'll pull out the first book. So the Harry Potter series begins with the first book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Also, I got this like really nice limited edition version. Chase's mom got it for me, my boyfriend's mom, for Christmas, and it all makes like a big Hogwarts castle. So these are really, really cute ones. So this whole entire series is about a boy named Harry. The first book starts when Harry is 11 years old, and he has a pretty crappy life. He literally lives under the staircase. He lives in like a little cupboard under the staircase at his aunt and uncle's house, who are jerks because his parents died in a car crash, is what his aunt and uncle told him, and he doesn't really know how they died, but you find out in this book. But everything is like that. It's sucking until one day on his 11th birthday, something very crazy happens, and this big man, which I won't tell you in case you haven't read it or haven't seen the movies, comes to him and is like, Harry, you have to go to Hogwarts because you're 11 years old now and it's time for you to go to wizard school. And Harry's like, what the heck, I'm not a wizard, like what are you talking about? And then he puts all these things together of how all these crazy things have been happening and how did he do that. And then he's like, okay, I am a wizard. Then he goes to this wizard school called Hogwarts and meets 2 of his best friends, Ron and Hermione, and meets one of his little enemies, Draco Malfoy. And yeah, there's just so much stuff at Hogwarts. Witchcraft, obviously, broomsticks, lots of delicious food, classes, just so much fun stuff. If you like the academia aesthetic, I literally was obsessed with these books just for that. Like, I just loved it so much for that aspect, which sucks because in the movies they didn't really show as much of that aspect, but at the same time, I just love these books so, so much, and I will definitely be rereading them at some point and rewatching the movies. I think I got until book 7 before I started watching the movies, but the first 2 were definitely the best movies because they actually showed like everything and didn't leave stuff out. But yeah, if you guys have not read this series, you need to. I've literally been preaching this to everyone. If you guys follow my Bookstagram, Reading with Asha, I go everywhere and preach this freaking series. I'm obsessed with it. I'm just so obsessed with it and I love it so freaking much. So definitely read this if you haven't already. Best series I've ever read, ever, okay? So obviously coming off of a really, really good book series like that, I was in a little bit of a reading slump, so I decided to read something a little bit more easier and something that I've been kind of interested in reading, which is this book right here called Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. This book is so, so good. It's about a girl who has OCD and she keeps it like a secret from all of her friends because they're really judgmental and just, they're not really like good friends, I guess. And then she meets this girl whose name is Caroline. Her new friend like shows her all this stuff in this poetry thing, Poet's Corner, which is a hidden room. Just a tight group of people who read poetry from their school in this like secret compartment basement area of the school, like behind the stage. You'll see if you read the book, you'll understand what I mean. But there she meets a boy, and the boy does not like her at first because of something that happened like a really long time ago in like elementary school, I believe, and she didn't even remember this whole situation. But he's like, he just doesn't like her because she's popular and everyone there is wondering like, why is she here? This book had a major plot twist. She starts to feel normal and then there's this huge thing that you literally will gasp and be like, and then she starts to question her sanity all over again because this is literally insane. So this book had a really, really good plot twist while also kind of giving you some insight and info on obsessive compulsive disorder, which I know a lot of people do experience. And yeah, I really, really like this book and I like every aspect of it. And this girl, she's like a swimmer and she's always swimming and stuff and made me want to go swimming so bad. So I just have to say that. I really, really like this book. I think I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And I pretty much gave every single book in the Harry Potter series 5 out of 5 stars as well, just to say. But yeah, this is the next book that I read after that series. The next book that I read right here is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is the same author of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I really, really love that book. And I've heard so much good things about this book, so I really wanted to read it. My reading goal for this year, by the way, on Goodreads is 75 books, so I'm already at 12 out of 75, and I think it'll definitely pick up soon when I'm done with school because I'll be able to read more. But yeah, this book was pretty good. I did not agree with a lot of things in it. The writing style was really cool. It's like an interview the whole entire time almost. But I did not agree with some of the ideas in it, and I think if you read it, you might kind of get that, I guess. But I really did like her writing style, and I really think all of her books are really good because they have the same basis of going back into like the 60s and 70s or 50s or whatever it may be, and she does a really good job at like researching that and then like showing it. So Daisy Jones and the Six is kind of about a band and this girl whose name is Daisy Jones. She starts off in the late 60s. She's a young girl. She starts sneaking into clubs and sleeping with rock stars, but she's a dream of singing. She dreams to be a singer. She's also a really, really beautiful girl, so a lot of people are noticing her and her beautiful voice and all this stuff, but she starts kind of getting into the wrong crowds and doing the wrong things. But at the same time that she's becoming popular, so is this band called The Six, which is the Six part of Daisy Jones and the Six. The lead singer, his name is Billy Doon, and he has a girlfriend, her name is Camilla, and she's like his everything and all this stuff, and she literally gets pregnant like the first night of his tour. He has a lot of pressure and starts going wild when they get on the road and just like getting into all this awful stuff. And so Daisy and Billy finally cross paths when a producer realizes that the key to supercharged success is the two put together. And then what happens next, it says, is the stuff of a legend. And I thought this book was really good. I didn't really expect what happened to happen, but at the same time, I did not agree with a lot of the way that they depict love and Camilla and Billy's love. Like, I just did not like it. I'm just gonna say that right now. I think a lot of you guys will realize that too, but I just think that like this I don't know, I just didn't, maybe I'm missing something or I don't know, but I just didn't love it for that reason. Whatever. Next book that I read was actually a poetry book, which I haven't read in a while, and it is Aphrodite Made Me Do It by Trista Matier. And so this is basically about Aphrodite. It's a feminist retelling of it, but it's like in poetry, and there's all these kinds of really cute kind of pictures and stuff in here that she shows as you turn the pages and get into the next thing. And I literally read this in like 20 minutes or something because it's just like a small book. Everyone knows the depiction of the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and everyone just thinks that, I don't know, you kind of have your own conclusions about this if you're in Greek mythology or into that, but it kind of shows how she healed, and it will convince you that you can heal too if you're going through something. I kind of just went into it not knowing anything about it like I do with every single book because I really wanted to read this, and I also really love Greek mythology. So I did read this, and I rated that, I think like a 3 or 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't my favorite, but also it wasn't bad, and it's just like a really easy poetry book. I don't think I said, but I think I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is by none other than the queen herself, Colleen Hoover, which everyone knows at this point. If you're watching this video, you definitely know who Colleen Hoover is, but this book by her is called Confess, which is a really good book per usual, super easy to read like all of her books are. So at the beginning of the book, Auburn is saying goodbye to someone who is really important to her, and then she loses more stuff that I can't say because it will literally expose the whole entire thing. I go into these books just knowing that other people rate them good, like someone has to rate it good for a reason, you know what I mean? She walks into a Dallas art studio in search of a job, and she doesn't expect to find a deep attraction to the person who works there, whose name is Owen. And she never really takes any chances or lets her heart control her because she has a lot going on, a lot at risk, but finally she does take control, and she just discovers that she really likes this Owen kid, but he has a really big secret that he is trying to keep under. Basically his secret could like destroy her life, so they can't really be together. It's like forbidden love. There is so many plot twists in this book that you just don't expect, so you can't even say that much. But basically, a lot of these, the reason that it's called Confess is because Owen owns this art studio where people drop in anonymous confessions, and he paints these pictures based off of these confessions. And a lot of the confessions in this book are real, and that's kind of what drew me into this book. So I was like, wow, that sounds interesting. I want to hear what some people have to say. And there's a lot of really good ones in here, so I definitely recommend this one. I think I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars as well. The next book that I read was another book that I've really been wanting to read for a really long time because so many people have loved it so much, and that is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I absolutely love this book. I believe she also wrote The Unhoneymooners, which I haven't read because I already know exactly what happens because Chase's mom read it a while ago and she told me about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds good. This book is so cute. This is about a girl, her name is Macy, and her mom passes away when she's really young, and her mom leaves this huge list of all these things to do, like to keep in mind for her dad, and one of these things is to have a vacation home for Macy to go to with her dad when things are getting harder. She just needs like a break from life to just get away. So her dad buys this vacation home. When she gets to this vacation home, she meets a boy, and his name is Elliot, and he's obsessed with reading. They both love to read, which is one of my favorite aspects of books that have reading in them. Like, you're a person who loves to read and you're reading a book about people who love to read. That's just the best thing ever. Yeah, Elliot becomes Macy's whole entire world when she's younger, and then something happens, which obviously they're not going to reveal it till the end of the book, but something happens and they just get broken apart. They don't talk for like 11 years. She has a whole new life now. She's about to get married to a whole nother guy, and so it's just going back and forth of what happened in the past, and you can see like, wow, they have such a beautiful relationship. Yeah, basically they are strangers, and then they cross each other's paths once again and figure out what actually happened back then that drew them apart, and it's just like so cute. So I absolutely love this book. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely recommend this one. Super easy read as well. The next book that I read just came out in January. This is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. Probably my new favorite books of hers. It's literally so freaking good. I absolutely love this book, and I'm so excited for her new book coming out in October, the sequel for It Ends With Us, because I love that book so much. But basically this book is about a girl named Kenna, and she has been in prison for like 5 years because of a really big tragic mistake that happened, which you guys will find out pretty soon within if you read this book. So basically she has a baby when she's in prison, and obviously she can't have the baby in prison, so they have to take it away from her, and she wants to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter when she gets out of prison. But it's really hard to rebuild like these bridges and get back and reunite with her because the people who have her now don't like her for reasons that you will find out in the book because she was in prison. But then she meets this guy, his name is Ledger Ward, and he's literally the only one who actually allows her in and stuff, but then he kind of finds out who she really is and he's like, okay, what? They form a really good connection, but he is friends with the people who have her daughter right now, so them being together is a huge risk because he doesn't want them to find out and then hate him and then not let him see the girl anymore because he's like almost a second dad to the girl, but also he loves Kenna and sees her for who she really is. I'm sorry, I'm like jumbling up my words, but you kind of get the point. It's just a really good book. I didn't know anything about this before I went into it and when I hadn't read it, so just trust me on this one. This one is so good. So the next book that I read is a little bit different to what I typically read, and I read this because my dad bought it for me and it's one of his favorite books, so I was like, all right, I'll read it. So this is Siddhartha by Herman I actually don't know how to say the name, so I'm not even gonna try it. But this is more of a spiritual enlightenment kind of book. It's about a young man whose name is Siddhartha, and he leaves his family for a life that he chooses, and he doesn't want to have the same life and just go down the same path that his family has, so he chooses his own way, and it kind of takes him a long time to figure out who he really is. He also conceives a son, but his son doesn't really want to be around him. It's just kind of like a little brat and he's just greedy almost. And then he finds this river and he starts hearing all these unique noises at the river, and he meets a man there as well, and then he finally gets peace and wisdom. It's very enlightening. It's kind of hard to say a lot about it, but it's a really good book. It's very short, as you can see. It's only like 130 or 150 pages, but it's really good. Definitely like a more of a classic kind of book, and it was like $6 on Amazon. So I really like this book. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5 stars, and the characters in this book are really good, very good character development. So I thought it was a good book, and I definitely recommend it if you guys are interested in something like this. Okay, the next book that I read, which is very fresh in my mind because I literally just finished it like 2 days ago, is Ariadne. I think I'm saying that right. I looked it up and I believe it's Ariadne. Pretty sure. But this is the daughter of Pasiphae. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I'm very bad at pronouncing names. This is a Greek mythology book, and it's by Jennifer Saint. I really like this book, but this is the sister of the Minotaur, so that's like the half human, half bull type of deal, and obviously he eats a lot of like humans and it's just crazy, but she's his sister, so she kind of feels bad, tries to love him, and you know what I mean, but it's kind of hard because he's a monster. So this is basically just the tale of her life and the lovers that she meets and the things that she deals with, and how a lot of women in Greek mythology pay the price for men's mistakes, and you definitely see this a lot in this book because of what she goes through and everything. But I really love Greek mythology, and if you're interested in Greek mythology, you'll definitely love this. But I definitely recommend reading the book Circe first by Madeline Miller. Circe is about this girl's mom's sister, so it's about this girl's aunt in the whole story of her, so that gave me a lot of background knowledge before just going into this without knowing anything. But if you want to, you can just go into this and learn all about it. But I really love Greek mythology, and I thought this was such a good book, so I totally recommend this if that's what you're interested in. I think I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars because I just really loved it. So those are all the books that I read in the past 2 months. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love making book videos. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations for these videos, if you want me to make them, if you want me to read a certain series and rate it, do a reading vlog, whatever it may be. I would love to do it for you guys. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Make sure you follow my Goodreads. It's just Asha Zapf, I'm pretty sure, and I had a book club on there. Haven't done it in a while, hoping to kick it back up this summer, but we will see. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you like it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, still give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.